Quicken Loans Arena here from downtown Cleveland, Ohio. Matt Weiner, it's Steve Smith, Grant Hill, the Hall of Famer Charles Barkley, and the other Hall of Famer, the great Jim Brown, who joins us on the set here. Thank you, sir, for being with us.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Great atmosphere here in the building tonight, and you know as well as anybody what any kind of championship victory would mean to this city, and this is one step toward that goal.
It will mean everything. It's a great step tonight because no one really expected it, but it's wonderful because these people are great fans, and LeBron is a tremendous hero, so I hope that they continue.
You know, Mr. Brown, obviously we got to talk about the past of Muhammad Ali, and we look at all the classic pictures with you, Muhammad, Bill Russell, those guys, Kareem. What impact did he have? I mean, I can look at these pictures. You got four of the greatest ever to lace them up, sitting there at that table. What do you think your biggest accomplishment in the civil rights movement was?
To stand up and be men, be great Americans, fight for our rights, risk making all of the money and the popularity, and do what everybody else had a right to do. All we wanted was to be dealing with freedom, equality, and justice like everybody else.
You know, you look at that picture.
Yes, which was here in Cleveland, by the way.
Was it really?
Yeah,
I did not even know.
In my office, Charles.
I mean, just, Bill Russell, the great Bill Russell, you guys, first of all, just admit one thing. You think I can beat Mr. Russell in golf?
No. You still got that hitch.
Yeah, but to look at that iconic picture, I mean, it's every time I get chills every time I look at that picture. Four of the greatest, not players, but just civil rights pioneers. I just want to thank you. Every time I see you, I try to always tell you, I saw you before the game. I cannot thank you guys enough. And you and Mr. Russell, you guys are, and Mr. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I just want to thank you personally and tell you, us guys, man, thank you for opening all the doors for us and doing all the heavy lifting.
Well, Charles, I appreciate that because you guys have some work ahead of you. The black-on-black crime is now unbelievable. Chicago is waiting on you. So if you take this night and this compliment that you've given me and you guys get together, you can make a major difference in this country.
Mr. Brown, I of course echo the same sentiments of Charles. We're standing on your shoulders of giants. I'm curious, when you look at those old pictures of you and Russell and of course Ali, what kind of memories do you have, personal memories with these other great legends in sport?
We called out to the great athletes, black athletes in the country. They all responded. When I think of what they didn't ask for any airfare, they didn't ask for any rooming or money for rooms or anything like that. They were risking their careers because we were talking about the federal government. And they came and they grilled him and they came out united because they believed in his sincerity. He was a conscientious objector. It was about his religion, and we all decided that whatever would happen to us, we would go along with him and back him and give him some support.
That iconic meeting took place in 1967 when Muhammad Ali decided he was a conscientious objector and would not make himself available for the draft. And that was 3 years after Jim Brown's Cleveland Browns won the NFL championship, and of course, as you know by now, the last Cleveland major sports franchise to do so.
Yeah, for sure, Matt. And I want to say to the great Jim Brown, thank you for me and just to talk about so much you've done for all of us. But I want to ask you a basketball question. What did you see out here from the Cavs? What did they do different?
They played like a team. LeBron was balanced. They were hitting their shots. They were hitting them early. They had a lot of heart because they had to feel bad after that other loss. And so I would say that they had great heart and played it that way and won in a fantastic way.
Well, they won in every conceivable way they could, really. Out-assisted the Warriors by 2. They out-rebounded Golden State by 20 tonight as well.
Well, first of all, they should out-rebound them. And let me tell you something. You know, I don't understand why people overreacted after game 1 and game 2. I've always said, listen, now still the pressure's on Cleveland. They not back in the series yet, but that brings up Game 4 as a must-win. This was a great win tonight. Was gonna be interesting, and we got to talk about this. What do you do with Kevin Love next game?
You're assuming he'll be healthy. And
I'm assuming, but
yeah.
listen, first of all, I think he gets a bad rep. I think they got to bring him back and start him. But it is going to be interesting for the talking heads the next 48 hours on television. Because, listen, Kevin Love's a terrific basketball player. They need him to win. But you know how the media is. You know how the fans are.
The rest of the media,
They like
you.
to start stuff.
They like to start stuff.
Absolutely.
Like you're doing right now.
No. I think they should start Kevin Love. I do. You know, listen, the guy's a hell of a player. They're not better without him.
No.
They won tonight. But I hope they put him back in the starting lineup and we see both of these teams at full strength.
Now, Chuck, when you look at it, is there a possibility if Kevin Love go to Tyronn Lue and say, hey, I have no problem coming off the bench? Because I think right now, the way they came out with so much energy, they have to get off to great starts. Nothing against Kevin Love, I'm with you. But if I'm Kevin Love, I say, hey, start the same way and be ready to come in.
And you know what you do if you're my teammate and you tell me you don't want to start, I'm going to
that?
slap the hell out of you.
Well,
you want to start.
But you want to win.
What we talked about in the pregame.
You got to sacrifice sometimes.
But the one thing we talked about pregame, the one guy, LeBron's going to do what LeBron does. The one guy we said got to play well came out and got them going tonight. That was Kyrie Irving.
Yes.
It has nothing to do with Kevin Love or Channing or Richard Jefferson, who's played very well. But Kyrie Irving came out and set the tone tonight, and he was the difference in the game. LeBron came home in the second and third quarters, but to me, this night was about Kyrie because he got them jump-started.
16 points in the first quarter. He had 19 at the half on his way to a 30-point night, 12 of 25 from the field. The funny thing is, and this will be an interesting conversation the next 48 hours as well, a lot of the shots were the same shots people have been complaining about from games 1 and game 2.
Yeah, they were. But they were going in tonight. And yes, when you're making them, it's fine. But I'm always to the point where if you're a point guard, if you're not making them, I got to get the basketball to somebody else. And you can play the game also without just scoring and making winning plays.
I agree, Smitty. You know, Kyrie Irving, LeBron James did not play well in those first two games, obviously. They came out, set the tone. LeBron put up some gaudy numbers, and I think still could have played better. Didn't have a great game. Had a few turnovers here and there, but to his credit, turned things around, had a tremendous second half. I just have one more question for our legend, our guest here today. I'm just curious, as a great hero here in Cleveland and a man of great character and substance, you look at the modern day hero of LeBron James, and a lot of people obviously feel he has a great substance behind him. I'm curious what your thoughts of LeBron James, the athlete, and LeBron James, the man.
He carries a heavy load. You know, I don't know about the family relationships as a fact, but this man is a phenomenal human being. He has a generous heart, and he works with charities. What I want to see him do is become an activist and use all of that power and some of that money and rally you guys so that you're a force so that we can save some of these lives. But he is doing what he knows how to do, and probably people are afraid to really say, LeBron, that's great, but the real deal is saving lives in these ghettos around this country.
You know, the one thing you touched on earlier, and it is one of the great travesties in our country, what advice would you give us about the Chicago situation?
Oh boy, I'll tell you, you've got Mr. Farrakhan there, you've got all of the activists there, Jesse is there. They can't do a thing. But I'll tell you something, if you all get back to me, I'll put you in touch with some of those gangsters out there. And if you take an interest in them, you can help them change that whole situation around. It has to come from the bottom up. And you all have the resources and the influence. And if you go out there where I know where to go, these young men can be turned around.
You know, you're famous for going and working with the gang members.
Yes.
So, I mean, number one, that takes tremendous courage. So you think we need to get a group of guys together and go and meet with the gang members?
Yeah, I think that if I give you a telephone call and if you get together, that you can change the face of all of this violence.
Well,
You have the influence, you have the money, you have the intelligence. You guys have, I mean, you're great Americans, man. You are successful. And those individuals out there have no fathers. They have nobody to truly look up to. So they look up to each other, they take guns, they don't mind dying, they don't mind killing.
well, I'll be remiss. I got to ask you a football question.
That's okay, I played it.
You know, have you, yeah, you know, your Cleveland Browns.
Yes,
You got a new coach and Coach Jackson.
absolutely.
I think everybody's excited, but you know it's a building process. Are you excited, impatient? What are your feelings toward the Browns going forward?
I am. This is the first move in the last 4 years that Cleveland has made that I'm with 100%. This is, oh my goodness, he's a great coach, a great human being. He's energized the city. All of us are ready to work for him and do everything we can do. And it's not going to take a lot of building. I guarantee you, you'll see some good football next year.
Mr. Brown, we appreciate you having on, getting your perspective not only on sports and basketball and the Cavaliers, but stuff much more important than what happens here.
Well, thank
in
you,
the arena.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
Let's